Hey guys, just going to go through SPX today like I've been doing the last couple of days in a row. So talking about Goldman SPX scalps that we have in the SideKickTraders Discord. We're running a really short-lived trial here, probably until the weekend I think, which will be a 7-day free trial to come and test these out. So these are the things we have in here. We're scalping SPX. Lance is in here from Theta Traders. You guys have probably seen me talking about him on this channel before, and he is looking at adjusting these for futures, also taking some of his own swing and day trade alerts on futures and large cap stocks. And then we have Josh doing some passive income spreads on the Russell 2000. Pretty good. We've had probably 50 or more people join over the last few days, so we're going to close this deal pretty soon, just because we're getting inundated with a lot of people asking questions, and we'd rather keep it like a smaller group. So probably going to close this off probably by the weekend, I think, is probably when we'll cut this off. So if you want to come check it out, there's currently a 7-day free trial to come and check it out. So anyway, Goldman has been doing these SPX scalps. I've been taking them when I can, so I've tried to record my results and record other people's results and just kind of go through each one here. I had a lot of people asking me about these trades, and so the big news today was he finally broke his winning streak, and I was telling people today that it's bound to happen. As soon as we get 50 plus people coming in to try these, the winning streak of 30 wins in a row comes to an end with a kind of a stupid lotto, not stupid, but kind of really high risk lotto trade. And we'll talk a little bit about that, as people have been asking about what are the losses like with Goldman. And that's fair, like you see these 30 wins in a row, you see 500% winners. It's natural and sensible to start asking, well, what are the losses like? So we'll cover that in today's video. And so today I was kind of busy. I made about $200 on one of Goldman's trades, which is kind of my goal for the day, right? If I can get $200 to $500 from Goldman alerts with a few minutes of work every day, I'm more than happy. So it was pretty fun. So let's look at some of the trades. Goldman started off this morning. He was kind of not really that much going on for a first little bit. You can see what he was saying here, leaning bearish. Eventually at 10 o'clock my time, or 11 Eastern, he entered SPX puts 39.50s at 1.4, exited for 14%. This is a pretty bad trade. Today was kind of a bad day overall. He barely squeezed out a win on this. If we look at the chart at 10:01, you can see on SPX here, if we go to the area that he was playing in, which was 10:01, let's just get here. So this is 10:01 on SPX right here, this candle. And so he entered on this candle with the, let's go back to the Discord here if we can find it. Here we go. So he entered puts at 1 minute past the hour, and then he was scaling out 3 minutes later for a small 14% win. Still a good win, but with these violent moving SPX contracts, it's not that great. So he was kind of in here, and then looks like he probably took some off here and then got out. So really kind of a weak start to the day. Can't by any stretch of the imagination look at this as much of a win, right? It basically was flat. It's just because these contracts are so volatile. So that was the first trade. I missed it. You're going to miss some of them. It's just how it goes, right? So that was his first trade, 14% win for him. Then he waited for a while, looked to try and get in some stuff, missed it. He's very picky, and that's why his win rate is so high. I think you got to be patient and just take trades when you can with this guy. And so at 12:24 Eastern time, this was the trade I got into. So these are the SPX 4005 calls at 1.8. So let's go and look at the chart at 11:24 my time. Let's go here. So just zoom out. So if we go to 11:24, and about here we go. So 11:24 is this candle right here. And so you can see the general trend was up for the next 5-10 minutes to here. So you want calls on this candle here. We go back to Discord. And within a few minutes, 2 minutes, he was already up 17%. I actually entered shortly after this, so I actually got, I think, 1.9 on this. We can check the chat in a minute. I kind of time-stamped it all. And then I ended up exiting about 2.1, I think. So I got 1.9 to 2.1, and he got some at 17% and then some at 28%. So this is a nice trade. I took a screenshot, $200 for the day on the SPX. Let's go and look at the main chat really quick. So these things really ran up by 11.32, quite impressive. But as time went on, look at this move all the way up to here. The contracts actually, I think they hit 3. So yeah, they really ran, but we were in and out pretty quickly. If we look at the main chat, we can see, let's go to our main chat here. It's been really busy with all the people talking about these different alerts and things. Just going to scroll back for the day. So here we go. So this was me entering. So I got in this alert at Goldman 1.9. I scaled out from yellow. That's right. I took half at 215, so 1.9 to 215. And then I got out the rest, not quite sure what, but it came to $200 roughly profit. Asked if anybody else took it. I have a new phrase now. It's a Goldman a day keeps the job away. It's kind of funny. So this guy played SPY. So that's one thing that people have been doing, is changing the way they play these. So some people are taking SPY contracts, and some people are playing the futures, like Lance is doing MES on these trades. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, because it's kind of relevant to the last play that he did today. So Stephen took 400 calls on Goldman Alert. He got 0.99 to 1.18, so pretty nice. Let's see where we're at. That was his first trade on it, so it was good. Let's see. This guy got 195 out at 2.2. And then he pointed out they ran all the way up to 3, which is pretty good. Anyway, let's go back to the Goldman trades for the day. So that's all I did today on them. I think the next one was a lotto. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, so there was a lot of like kind of nothingness for a lot of the day. Here we go. So this was the last trade of the day, and this is what ended his winning streak, but we can talk a little bit about it. So he's had 30 in a row, and then he decided, or 31 in a row I think it was, and then decided to do these 4,000 calls. He did a typo here on total lotto. And the key thing here though is to know that when he does a lotto, he halves his position size. So if you go into the Goldman strategy channel, if you're in SideKickTraders, this is where he talks about his position sizing. So lotto sizing is only 5% of his entire account, and so typically he'll go for 10% or 20% of his entire account. So the lotto sizing is much, much smaller, so that he can prepare to let it go to 0. In this case he didn't, but he'd be absolutely fine if it did. So really small on these lottos. I've made a kind of rule for myself that I'm not going to take these lotto plays. These SPX scalps are already super risky. I don't really have the stomach for taking these lottos on them. And in this case, it was a good that I didn't, because within a few minutes this thing had started to really go down, and he ended up cutting it here for a 47% loss. Now again, remember, 47% on a tiny position, so it's not like that big of a deal. But it was a kind of a silly way to end it. And I think part of it was the fact it was in the last hour of trading. So these are all 0 DTE plays, so you've got to be aware that, the theta, the time decay on these, they really have to move the right way fast, otherwise there's no coming back. So the worst thing you can do on these is, if you have these SPX 0 DTE contracts, start piling in and averaging in, thinking that you're going to somehow bounce back. And as time goes on, you just get utterly destroyed. So he actually did a good job cutting his loss here, and a good job keeping it as a small position, but it was a shame to see his winning streak come to an end. Just as I was saying that to people, that this always happens when I start talking about a service or a particular person that's alerting, it always comes to an end right at the worst possible time. So hopefully if you're in this service, you didn't end up just getting into this lotto trade and not understanding what it was doing. So Lance, who's joined SideKickTraders to help out do all these alerts and things, and he pointed out that actually for a lotto like this, you're better doing the contracts, the futures contracts, or even just because you don't have time decay with futures contracts. So he actually started taking the futures. I think he did ES or MES. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, so So he did MES and took a small loss on it. I do like the fact that you don't have any theta decay. Does really help, especially on these lottos that are 0 DTE with 1 hour left. So I think Lance's input here was really useful. So yeah, something to consider if you're in the service. Actually pretty good. So I think that's all I have to say really. I think it was another difficult day today. It was a shame to see his winning streak come to an end, but I still made out with a couple $100, so pretty happy with that. I'll try and do an update tomorrow again on this stuff. And again, if you want to join, come and check these out. There's a 7-day trial. I'll leave a link in the description below to this page where you can go and sign up. Alright guys, talk to you tomorrow.